Hello, everyone. This is Mrs. Scott here, wishing you happy holidays and ready to make a snowman ornament with you with the things that were in your um, remote learning art Ziploc bag. Some supplies you would have found are a package of Model Magic and items like this that were taped onto a card for you so that you have all the details for your snowman. There's a lot of ways that you can make something holiday-ish with Model Magic, and many ways you can make a snowman. So this is not the only way, but I just want to give you one way to do it that has been pretty successful with all the different ages that we've done it with. If you want to make alterations that work for you, that is just fine. If you have other things to add on to it at home, that is also just fine. So first you're going to take the Model Magic out of the package, and feels kind of mushy and marshmallowy, but it will dry. Unlike Play-Doh, which doesn't, when it dries, it kind of crumbles. This will stay together, kind of feels like a stale marshmallow when it's finally dry. So this is the type of clay we're using. You're going to divide it up into 3 equal parts for the 3 body parts of the snowman. They don't have to be exact, but let me make the screen a little bigger here. They don't have to be exact, but just try to estimate about the same size, and then you're going to roll those. I'm just rolling like this, round and round and round. You could also roll it on the table. I like to roll it like if you've ever made cookies that you have to roll into a ball. It's kind of the same thing. And if you roll it long enough, you should be able to get rid of most of the cracks, which is always nice. So if yours are a little bit different in size, then you can arrange them smallest to largest. This one's a little smaller, so I'm putting it at the top. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the side of our hand to just press down, and we use the side because it makes it still nice and flat. It doesn't show like fingertips or anything. And I'm just pressing these down just so they have a little bit of a flat top where I can press items on. I don't want to press these down too flat, otherwise it really won't be solid and secure enough to maintain hanging on the tree or something like that. I don't want it to break on you, so do keep it a little bit thick like these are. Still should be kind of puffy. And I have a little crack here that I'm gonna try to fix up, and then we'll hop back to it here. Okay, so the next thing you need to know is that if you simply tap them together or press them together like this, that really isn't strong enough for it to hang on a tree. It might stay together for a short time, but it will eventually pop off. So I want you to overlap your circle a little bit and then give it a little press there with your finger. And then you can overlap this one and also give it a press. So the circles need to overlap just a bit. Okay, next we're going to look into our little fun details that we have to add on. I like to start with the eyes, and I want to point out that if you just barely set them on or barely push them in, they will still pop out once the clay is dry. So this is not going to make it if they're just set on here barely or barely pressed on. They really have to be actually pushed into the clay. So the clay is going to get kind of pushed down a little bit. It's going to look like they're going to get surrounded a bit. They have to be pressed in so the clay can kind of envelop around them. Otherwise, those will pop off. Next, you're going to find an orange pipe cleaner. And depending on the length of yours, you might want to bend it in half, pinch it, and then the pokey ends, you're going to just stick them in as far as you can into the Model Magic. And then you're going to dig for a black pipe cleaner. This is a tricky part. And I'll show you why. First thing you're going to do is bend it into a smile shape. But what you need to know is that these pokey parts really have to kind of poke into the Model Magic, otherwise this guy wants to pop off. So an alternate thing to this is if you just want to make the whole thing without a mouth, and then you could draw the mouth on with a Sharpie or other marker. But if you want to try it with this pipe cleaner, then you really need to make sure that that pokey part of the wire presses down in to the clay. And then I like to just push the cheeks up around it just a little. And that will usually hold that in fine then. Got a few fuzzes there. All right. Next, we're going to look for, if you need help from an adult too, they may be able to help you secure that mouth. Let's go with you should have two types of beads in there of some kind. I have these triangle ones. So again, with the beads, same with the eyes. If you just place them on like this is not secure enough. In fact, they kind of puff back up if I do that. I really have to push them down in. And if your beads are small, which I think some of the beads I gave you guys are pretty tiny, you may want, if you have a pair of tweezers or something, you may just need a little something. Even a pencil eraser can help you push those down. So just to make sure that they're nice and secure. All right, next in our cup, we're going to find the two green arms. And we're going to just make sure that we poke those in a little bit so that they don't just flop out. They should feel pretty secure. So make sure you actually go into the side of your ornament. And before we do that, just in case you guys don't have anything else this size at home, take one of them and you need to go ahead, if you want this to be an ornament, you need to go ahead and run it through the top of the ornament's head and kind of go back and forth just to make sure you can see the table through there, so that you have a hole to hang the wire in. And then lastly, I like to use, I just tell the kids here, like a claw. So I'm going to make my hand like a claw like this, and I'm going to kind of just barely pick it up with my fingers like this, really gentle. And the reason I really encourage the kids to be gentle when they're picking it up, and really we don't pick it up after we have it all set up here. We don't pick it up and put it down and pick it up and put it down. The reason is because it starts to stretch out and then it gets really fragile. And some of them have, once they're dry, they have broken. So we try not to pick it up until the very end. When we pick up the head, lay the string under it, and then you may need an adult to help you tie it there. However short you want your strings of the scarf. And then you may want to write the date on the back. You might want to write 2020 or something like that on the back. But it needs a good day to dry before you hang it on your tree. So just put it in a safe place. And I would recommend laying it on something non-porous like a tabletop, not so much on fabric, because that fabric can stick in and then it can not want to peel up. So I would just lay it somewhere to dry. It doesn't really get anything dirty. And there is your snowman ornament. Happy holidays, everyone.